So, what is happening today, I wonder? If we look out the window straight away, you can see the sun is out and everything is very nice. We are having a beautiful day. The sun is shining. There are not many clouds in the sky. In fact, you might say today is a lovely day. Welcome once again. English Addict is back with you, coming to you live from the birthplace of the English language, which, of course, we all know where it is. It's England. Yes, we are back. Back together again. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope so. The weather is lovely. It really feels as if summer is on its way, and I feel rather happy about that, if I was honest with you. Did you catch yesterday's live stream? We were on our travels yesterday. In fact, we will be talking a lot about travelling, some of that coming up later on. Yesterday we went to a lovely place called Leamington Spa. I did a very short live stream. Have you seen it? Did you watch it? I have to say, it's a lovely place, a nice town, quite historic, lots of lovely buildings, and I suppose a lot of people go to that particular place because of the architecture, the way in which the buildings are arranged, but also the style of the buildings as well. There are some beautiful buildings to be seen in Leamington Spa. If you ever get the chance to go there, go there. My name is Duncan. I talk about the English language. You might say that I am an English addict, just like it says on my shirt. Coming up today, we are talking about predicting the future. How easy is it to predict the future? Now, when we talk about making predictions, we often talk about guessing what will happen next or over a certain period of time, normally the immediate future. So from this point onwards, we often try to guess roughly. We are never 100% accurate, but we can get very close to predicting things in general. We often think of many types of things when we talk about predictions. For example, this week people have been talking here in the UK about the weather because it would appear we are going to get some very hot weather in a few days from now. So that is a type of prediction. The weather forecast is looking forwards or looking in a forward direction, trying to predict what the weather will be. So that is today's main subject. Of course, we have Mr. Steve here as well. Can I let you in on a little secret? Yesterday we went out with Mr. Steve's sister and brother-in-law. We had a super duper time. We went to a very nice place to eat, and a little surprise as well, because Steve's sister has given us an exercise bike. I know what you're thinking, Mr. Duncan. Be careful. Don't injure your back again. So now we have an exercise bike. So this is not a bicycle that you ride around the streets. You just stay in one place. It is a static exercise bike. So if something is static, it means it is in one place. It doesn't move, or it is something that can't be moved. It is static. Normally, I am static first thing in the morning because I don't want to move very much. Static. So a static exercise bicycle is what Mr. Steve now has. I'm not sure if I will use it. Maybe, maybe not. So that's what Steve is doing at the moment in the garage. He's making some space for the new exercise bike. And I know what you're going to say. Mr. Duncan, please can you show Mr. Steve riding the exercise bike? Well, maybe next weekend we will do that. Maybe next Sunday. We have... I'm not going to ride it. Definitely not. I don't think I will be going on it for quite a while, to be honest. So today we are looking at a few things, some things to reveal. I mentioned the travels that we had yesterday, but also we have some travels coming up. Some travelling will be taking place. And yes, we have finally arranged a trip. So if you would like to join us on one of the days during our trip, you are more than welcome to do so. Later on, we are going to tell you where we will be and roughly when. So if you are interested in meeting up, then I will put my email address on the screen later on when we announce the place we are going to. So all of that coming up. Also, a big announcement about what is happening with my live streams. So I will briefly explain what is happening and then we will talk a little bit about it later on as well. There will be no more Wednesday live streams. There is a reason for that because I am now putting regular lessons on during the week. There are two different types of recorded lesson. Short lessons and longer lessons. So the short lessons will normally be around 1 minute long. Of course, the longer lessons will be longer than 1 minute. So that is the brief information on your live stream for today on this Sunday, the 21st of April already. I can't believe it. This month has gone by so quickly. Does it feel like it? It does to me anyway. So we had a lovely time yesterday. It is nice to get out and about. I don't know about you, but when the weather starts to improve, you feel more like going out. You feel more like exploring the area in which you are in. The subject today is guessing the future. Of course, it is possible to make your future as well. You can make your future. You can create your future with your own choices and decisions. So when we talk about making predictions, we can almost predict our own future by the choices we make. Not always. I'm not saying it is always possible because it isn't. It isn't always possible to guess what will happen next. However, sometimes in life, the choices you make as you go along can help you to make plans for that future. Another thing, we will be talking about that later on as well. Thank you for joining me. We have the live chat. Congratulations. I'm not even going to look at the live chat. I'm not. I can already guess that Vitas is first on the live chat without even looking. So there was a prediction. I predicted just a few moments ago that Vitas would be and was first on the live chat. And I think I might be right. I suppose I should check, really. So, was Vitas first? Yes, is the answer to that question. Hello also to Beatrice. Hello to Vitas. Again. Hello also to, He is here. You know who I'm talking about. Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Nice to see you here as well. We also have Athera. Hello, Athera. A shock. Hello to you as well. Marion is here also. I wonder if Mr. Steve will try to pronounce your name, Marion. So not your first name, but your second name. I wonder if Steve will try to do it. Claudia is here as well. Hello, Claudia. Thank you for joining me as well today. It is nice to be back with you on this Sunday. There are no live streams on Wednesday, so from next week I will be only with you on Sunday. Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. However, the good news is there will be lots and lots of new lessons. Short lessons and long lessons. In fact, I put a new short lesson on today. So there is actually a new short lesson on my YouTube channel that I posted this morning. And there will be many, many more coming up over the next 20 or 30 years, depending on how long I live. Who else is here today? I don't want to miss anyone out. Mitra. Hello, Mitra. It's nice to see you here as well. Thank you for joining me. Zudzika is here. Also, Omar. Hello, Omar. Hello, Mr. Duncan. It is a pleasure to stay in the live chat with you. I'm glad to hear it. I'm very pleased, in fact. Florence is here as well. I was going to say something then, but I'm not going to say it. You will understand why later on. Hello also to Quitaiba, and Patrick is here. A big hello to Patrick as well. Francesca, Marwan. Hello, Marwan. Nice to see you back as well. Tom is here. Hello, class. Nice to see you. And finally, Elaf. Elaf is here as well. Thank you for joining me every Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. 2024. We are already coming towards the end of April. Can you believe it? And I suppose at this time of year, we start to make plans for the future, for this year. Maybe plans for the summer. Because here, of course, in the UK, we are approaching summer. Now, I know in other countries, the seasons are slightly different. So sometimes when it gets warmer here, it might be getting cooler in other countries, and also the other way round. So I do understand, and I am making plans for the summer. We have a trip arranged. Can you believe it? We decided last week because we have been, well, I suppose you could say we were procrastinating. No, it's not a rude word. If you procrastinate, it means you can't decide, you keep holding back, you keep delaying, you can't make a decision. It is something that most of us suffer from. I think one of the main things that stops anyone from doing the things they want to do in life is procrastination. I think it is one of the worst habits. I suffer from it, and so does Mr. Steve. I know Steve does. He's not very good at making choices and decisions or beginning something. Sometimes we will wait for quite a long time. So that is what is going on today on the live stream. And yes, I suppose I should give the notification right now that Mr. Steve is on his way. He will be with us at around about 2:30 UK time. So in around about 11 minutes, we will have Mr. Steve on the screen. And I hope you will enjoy everything that is coming your way today. Some beautiful views, I have to say. I'm going to say it now. We have such lovely weather at the moment. Always makes me happy. So we had a nice day yesterday out in the sunshine, and today the sunshine is also coming down upon the house. I was going to go outside, but I didn't have enough time to prepare to go outside, so that's the reason why we are in the house. However, I would imagine over the next few weeks we might be doing something outside on the live stream, so we will see what happens. But the problem is it takes such a long time to organise it and arrange it if we are doing something outside. Would you like to hear something lovely? You know I love nature very much. You know I like nature. Would you like to share with me the dawn chorus from this morning? The birds were really happy this morning because the weather was nice. We had a beautiful sunrise, and I was able to capture this morning's dawn chorus. Would you like to hear it? So that was filmed at around about 5:30 this morning. I got up very early to film and also record the sounds of the dawn chorus. All of the birds suddenly they wake up and they start singing. If you can actually get the chance to go outside when it starts, it is quite amazing how I've noticed it is the blackbirds and the robins who will sing first. So the first birds to start singing during the dawn chorus, from my point of view, always seems to be the robins and the blackbirds. So they are the ones that start. And then, of course, slowly all the other birds join in as well when the sun is rising, especially if you have a nice sunrise like we did this morning. In fact, we are having some lovely days. Some hot weather is coming as well very soon. I can't wait for it. The nature sound is amazing. It is, Christina, you are right. I love the sound of nature. It is very hard sometimes to go to a place where you are not interrupted by other noises. We often talk about noise pollution. It is strange when we use that term because we often think of pollution as something you are breathing in, but actually it can be anything you are experiencing with your senses. So something you hear. You can have noise pollution. So maybe you are trying to listen to one particular thing, but there are other things that are disturbing you. They are making your day or your time or even your concentration a little hard to keep. And I think, yes, I suppose you can have noise pollution. Maybe at night if you're trying to look at the stars in the sky. A lot of people at the moment are very interested in that for various reasons because the sun, the activity of our own star, has become quite erratic over the past few weeks, and there are many very interesting things happening with the sun. at the moment. Also, we had the eclipse last week, so many people are looking up more and more at the nighttime sky. Of course, if you have light pollution, and it does happen in places where there are maybe many houses, many street lights, many buildings with bright lights outside, you might find there is a lot of light pollution in the sky. So it can happen. One of the great things about living here in the countryside is we have very little noise pollution and also very little light pollution at night. So I suppose we are lucky in that respect. We are quite lucky that we don't have to worry too much about that. We have Mr. Steve coming up in around about 5 minutes from now. So I hope you will join me for the rest of today's live stream, and I hope you will enjoy everything that is coming up today, because it should be an interesting one. Mr. Steve is on his way in around about 4 minutes from now. Today, fish. It's a fish lunch today for Claudia. Thank you for letting us know. I suppose I should always ask, you see, what you are cooking in your pot, because I don't always do it. Fish, very interesting. Guess what I had yesterday? Can you guess? I wonder. I had a nice piece of lamb shank. Now I know what you're going to say, Mr. Duncan. How can you eat those lovely little cute animals? Well, I suppose it's because they taste very nice. Maybe that is the reason why. He's coming in a moment. Don't worry. Mr. Steve is on his way, and we are talking about making predictions for the future. We are also announcing the trip, the big trip that we are making this year. And of course, you are welcome to join us if you can get to the place where we will be. All of that coming up. Please don't go away. Aren't they lovely? Lots of lovely sights. We don't have the cows at the moment. They haven't arrived yet. But we have a feeling that over the next maybe couple of weeks we might get some lovely animals at the back of the house. Maybe some sheep or maybe some lovely cows. We will see. English Addict is with you. And of course, well, it wouldn't be English Addict without the man who is here every Sunday, keeping us all entertained, keeping us all happy, and keeping the ladies very satisfied. And maybe some of the men as well, who knows? It is the one and only Mr. Steve.
Hello, beautiful, gorgeous, intelligent people that are watching Mr. Duncan's channel from around the world and the universe, of course. We don't know who's watching on other planets. Oh, Mr. Duncan, it's an exciting day today. And I'm excited to be here, and it's lovely to be here again, once again, every Sunday. I'm with you as long as I'm not rehearsing something. And, well, we've got some things to talk about today, haven't we, Mr. Duncan? It's beautiful weather outside. We had a lovely day yesterday with my sister and her husband, and we're just feeling relaxed, chilled out, and full of beans, full of life, positive. That's what we want to be, Mr. Duncan.
Definitely.
I'm trying my best.
If there's one thing Mr. Steve is very good at doing, it is trying or appearing to be happy. And I think you are very good at that, especially when you're with other people. You can be the centre of the life and the soul, as it were. So I think it's quite nice to have someone like Mr. Steve around. You can be quite jolly.
I can fake it. I can fake it.
That's it. Well, that's how you get on in life. They say that, don't they? They say the secret to success in many things is sincerity. And once you can fake that, you can do anything.
Well, politicians are very good at that. At faking sincerity and lying, and it's unbelievable that after all these years and decades we still believe what they tell us. But there you go, that's another story. We're not going to get negative. Not negative today. Positive, no. Positive all the way through.
It seems to go against what I've just said about you.
It doesn't take me long. Somebody described me the other day as a grumpy old man.
Really?
Yes.
Who said that?
A friend of mine. And she said, "How are you?" And I started off, and then she said... I said I was a bit stressed, worrying about things and getting anxious. And she said, "You know what your trouble is? You've turned into a grumpy old man."
Oh, well, maybe that's what happens. I do notice, though, as people get older, and this is something I've said to you in the past, as we get older, all of those parts of our personality, especially the strong parts of our personality, they can sometimes become more and more exaggerated as we get older. So it can happen. But I wouldn't say you're grumpy. Sometimes I think you overthink or think too much about things, and then it is reflected in your personality.
I think it's habits. You can start down a road. It's all habits, isn't it? Thinking, it's all habits.
I think so.
And that you develop over weeks and months and years.
I think so.
And you've got to fight it sometimes. But anyway, yes, moaning and groaning about things. They're mostly first world problems, as we call them. First world problems that were, the way people have to live in some countries, it's disaster, it's war, it's famine, and we moan if our delivery of groceries has got something missing out of it, and yet there are people starving around the world, and you've got to put it all into perspective sometimes and realise actually we haven't got a bad life.
No, I think most people have a fairly good life, but of course we know there are many who don't, and I think that is always worth remembering. You thank what we often say, Steve, you thank your lucky stars.
Yes, or thank the Lord, or whatever you want to thank.
Oh, okay.
Thank your lucky stars.
I've never heard you say that, by the way.
I know, I don't. Well, I might say it if I'm really feeling bad.
I've
We all
never-
turn to the Lord when we're
What?
really feeling bad, don't we?
What are you doing, Steve? Why are you banging around again?
No, it's this table. It's if I lean on it too much, it's unstable.
Yeah, don't-
You've given me an unstable
Steve,
table, Mr. Duncan.
Steve, don't lean on the bloody
I know,
table.
but when I get excited, anything can happen, Mr. Duncan.
Don't lean on the bloody table. That's it. It's not that difficult. Don't lean on the table. I should put a big sign on there. Do not lean on the table.
Lewis said, Mr. Steve, hello, Lewis. Who said that? I can't remember what I said now.
About you being a miserable old man.
Oh, yeah, it's just a friend of mine. I mean, I know them. You know, we've been friends for years. We can say anything to each
I
other.
want to know who it is.
Well, I won't say live.
No, come on,
you know.
shame them now.
Let's just say somebody I used to work with, and a female. Name begins with J.
I
She's
know
not
who-
watching. But
she's got no room to talk.
well, I know exactly. Well, let's just say we can be honest with each other about anything.
But the thing is, sometimes people who criticise others around them are worse than the people they are criticising, and she's a good example of that. How can I just say, how dare you say that about Mr. Steve? How dare you? I feel like that girl who used to run around and tell us all to stop burning coal. That girl, do you remember her?
No.
Don't you remember her? This girl.
How dare you?
Oh, that one. Yes. Yeah, she's her powers are waning. She keeps trying to get herself arrested.
Well, that's because she's older now. Nobody cares.
Yes, and everybody realises it's all a bit of a con, what she's been talking about. But anyway, we won't go into that. We're not
Okay,
talking about
well-
environmental issues today.
Well, why do you keep mentioning these things?
Well, you brought her up. I didn't.
No, I brought her up. I didn't. Yes, because I said, how dare you? That was it.
So many people. I can't say hello to everybody. But can I make a special mention to Patrick,
Yes.
who we know is let's just say got some health issues at the moment, and we're thinking about you and hope that you get better soon.
Hmm.
Just wanted to say that, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
Over
Today-
to you.
Yes.
Over to you.
No, all right, Steve, calm down. Okay, I am here in front of dozens of controls operating a live stream. Please, if I don't react straight away sometimes, I'm probably doing something here with all of these stupid buttons and lights and dials and things like that. So that might be the reason why. Anyway, today we are looking at predicting the future. It is very hard to predict what will happen next. Some things, however, are very easy to predict, or maybe something that, because it does the same thing again and again, you might find that it is easy to predict. For example, I can sometimes very easily predict Mr. Steve when he's about to do something or just before he does it, because you have quite a very interesting routine in the morning. So whenever I hear Mr. Steve moving around the house in the morning, I'm always listening for those particular sounds that Steve makes, whether he's in the kitchen or upstairs in the bathroom making his noises. I always know what Steve is going to do next because of your routine in the morning.
We've all got routines, haven't we? We've all got routines. You have to have a routine. Routine's good for you.
Yes, it's not a. All right, Steve, I'm not criticising you. By the way, there is something that we will be adding to our routine, isn't there, Steve? Because yesterday your sister gave us an exercise bike.
Yes.
So now I think it might be in the conservatory or maybe in the garage. We're going to have our exercise bike, although I have a feeling for most of the time I think Steve will be the one using it and I will be the one watching Steve use it. So we will see what happens.
Calling that room a conservatory is a gross exaggeration.
Well, it doesn't matter really because
It's
no one
basically
can, Steve, no one could see it. It doesn't matter.
I know, but anyway, yes. So I've always wanted an exercise bike because I've got a bad ankle. I used to love running. I've got a bad ankle. We all like to do exercise, don't we? Well, some of us do. And I've got a bad ankle, so I can't run as much as I used to be able to because it's, let's just say, an old wound.
Yeah.
So I just thought to myself, for many years, I must get myself an exercise bike, and for Mr. Duncan, because Mr. Duncan needs to do more exercise.
Let's just say at the moment I am a bit stiff in the back. I've had just a few problems. Nothing too serious. Nothing serious. Yeah, wait there, Steve. No hospitals, no doctors, no chiropractors, nothing like that. So at least it's okay. But I am going to be taking more exercise. It does happen. Sometimes we get a little bit out of shape. But at least we have an exercise bike. And the good thing about that, Steve, is you can use it at any time.
Well, yes, that's it. So, yes, Christina says, did you buy a bike? Well, I've got an old bike from when I was 18. Well, younger than that, an old sort of pedal bike. But I don't really want to go on the roads because they're a bit dangerous. I feel a bit unsafe on the roads. But, so I didn't buy this bike. My sister, they somehow got hold of a spare pedal bike.
Okay.
A stationary exercise bike.
Okay.
And they didn't want this one. It was cluttering up one of their rooms.
Steve, get to the point.
Well, I'm just explaining English words as I go along, Mr. Duncan.
Yes.
To clutter up something means to cause something to be, it's in the way. And clutter, it's something that's in the way and you want to maybe tidy it and get rid of it. So they got the spare one and they said, you can have it. Because I never would have bought one. I never would have spent that sort of money on something that I wasn't sure I was ever going to use. Because, when you buy certain things, we've all done this. We buy something, we think we're going to use it. We spend a lot of money on something and then we use it for a period of time and then it goes and, we end up not using it and it's been a waste of money. A bit like an ice cream maker or something like that. You buy these things, you use them for a few weeks and then you get bored with them and stop using them. Waste of money.
Steve,
so I would never have bought one.
Okay.
But this one's been given to me very generously by my sister. So we're going to try it out. So when it's raining,
yes,
and I don't want to go outside or it's muddy, me and Mr. Duncan, I've got it mainly for Mr. Duncan in the hope that he will do a bit more exercise. Because you're a fair weather exerciser, aren't you, Mr. Duncan?
All right, Steve. Okay.
Somebody
that look, all of this shaming isn't going to help you.
I'm not shaming you.
I might just go back to bed now and lie in bed for the rest of the day because of that. But for both of us.
Francesca.
So the good thing is we can exercise any time. You haven't got to go outside into the rain because no one wants to walk or cycle in the rain.
Well, I like going out in the rain.
Okay, Steve. I'm just trying to wrap this bit up so we can move on because we have a dozen things to talk about, including announcing where we're going for our trip this year.
Yes.
You were going to say, Steve?
No, I was just going to say, Francesca has an exercise bike. She uses it every evening. Christina said it would be amazing to go biking in your countryside. Yes, it would be. It would be. And I think if I can find somewhere to go, like yourself, off-roading, then it would be good. But you're not allowed to cycle along public footpaths. So if there's a footpath in the country for pedestrians, you're not allowed to cycle along them. So I'd have to find somewhere specifically for a bike. I would like to do mountain biking. Maybe you can take me one day and show me how to do mountain biking, and I can get fit on the stationary exercise bike.
Yes, we can only hope. Today we are talking about a few things, predicting the future, and also we are going to announce any moment. In a few moments, we are going to announce where the trip will be this year. Finally, after lots of hesitation, lots of procrastination, we've decided to go away, and we've decided to go to a different place. Last year we went to France. We had a nice time in Paris. We even met up with some of you as well, which was nice.
And a lot of them are watching today.
Yes.
Well,
So-
in fact, everyone that we met is watching today.
Yes.
Lewis, Patrick, Christina. Oh God, my mind's gone blank already.
Good.
Christina, Beatrice, and whoever missed out. Whoever missed out, Mr. Duncan.
Patrick.
Francesca. So I think that's everybody I've mentioned who we met up with last year.
Anyway, Steve, I'm trying to. It's so difficult. I've got to get to this point, Steve.
Claudia's got an exercise bike as well.
Oh, God.
Carry on, Mr. Duncan.
Steve, I don't want to use the phrase. You know the phrase. The second word is up. Please wait a moment. I've got to do this. We have to have a format, you see. That's why no one watches us anymore. We just ramble along. Here we go. We are going away this year, and we are going to have a trip. And today we are going to announce it. In fact, we are going to tell you right now where we are going, because it's been a while. We've been thinking carefully, so we are not going to France this year. We are staying in Europe. So if you are thinking of taking a trip, maybe somewhere, perhaps this could be the place you will be visiting. Now, first of all, I will say it is at the beginning or near the beginning of June. So there is the first bit of information, because I think that might be the most important information. When? So it's around the first week of June. I won't say too much. So if you want to get in touch, please email me. I will put that on the screen in a moment. Here we go, Steve. Are you ready? Here it is.
So I'm just going to say, can I just say something first? We're not going to announce the dates
Yes.
on here. So the procedure is if you want to meet up, then email Mr. Duncan, and because we want to keep it, we don't want to announce that to we want to keep that within the group of whoever is interested in going.
Yes, of course.
So Mr. Duncan's going to announce it, and if you're interested in maybe coming along, and then email Mr. Duncan, and then we can go from there with all the other details.
Yes. Where was I?
You were about to announce it. We were all waiting with bated breath.
Well, I'm trying to get to it, Steve. So don't forget, if you want to join us, I will allow you to email me, and then I will give you the actual dates so I know who is genuinely interested. Here we go. So,
drum roll.
A drum roll. Okay, maybe. This year, we have decided to take a trip to a place that is very famous for its architecture, I suppose it's works of art. Also, the leader of a certain religion or a certain church is also in the place where we are going. Yes, our 2024 holiday that you can come and say hello to us whilst we are enjoying it is... We will be in Rome, Italy. That is it. Rome. We are going to visit Rome. We are going to see all of the beautiful sights and listen to the lovely sounds. I don't know what the sounds are, but I'm looking forward to them. Anyway. So in Rome, we will be roaming around Rome near the beginning of June. So if you are interested in coming, or maybe if you happen to be there at the same time as us, please drop me an email and make sure you clearly tell me who you are as well, so we know. And then I can put you on a mailing list, and I will inform you of any changes or any details. And then as soon as we know who is interested and who wants to come along, then you are more than free to join us. So that's where we will be near the start. In fact, it's towards the around about the second week, I would say, isn't it, Steve? When you think about it,
Yeah,
so it's around about that time, not specific. So if you are,
I was going to say, for obvious reasons, we're not announcing the dates to everybody. But so if you're interested, email Mr. Duncan, and we'll let you know when we're going to be there.
yes,
And then obviously, if you want to come along and meet up, then you can, and it would be lovely because we had a fantastic time in Paris last year, and with everybody that met up with us there. So yeah, we'd love to. We're obviously doing a whole tour of the world.
okay,
1
Steve,
year at a time.
Steve. Before you start going off into other flights of fantasy, I've got to get the details on. Mr. Duncan at ymail.com. There it is. So there is the address. Write to that. If you are interested, please give me your proper name. So not your YouTube name. If you have a pseudonym, I will need also to know who you actually are as a person as well. So if it's John Smith or Mary Baker, that's the name I will need. And we will see what happens. So it is official. We are going to be in Rome, which of course is in Italy, and we are there for a short time, and you will have a chance to meet up with us during that particular time. So if you are interested, once again, I know it's a little bit confusing at first, but all you have to do is send an email with your actual name, not your YouTube name, and then if you want to come along, you are more than welcome to do so. In fact, I think it is a good idea, Steve, to put your YouTube name and your actual name as well, just so I know who I am talking to.
So we'll set up a group, and then as we get nearer to the date, then people are definitely interested in meeting up and coming. We'll get all the updates, and then when we're there, we'll probably set up maybe a WhatsApp group so that we can all coordinate.
Well, no, Steve, that is not what I'm doing. I've already told you what I'm doing. An email mailing list.
Yeah, I know.
Not WhatsApp.
Yeah. Not now, no. I mean, when we're there, I said.
Well, I won't be anyway.
Okay.
Because,
okay.
No.
Anyway, right. So that's it. Let's just take it one stage at a time.
Okay. Yeah. Just want to go back to bed. To be honest, I knew this would happen. So just let me.
It's fine, Mr. Duncan.
I know we're not doing a WhatsApp. There's no WhatsApp. So please don't send me numbers and things to my phone asking for the WhatsApp. Please don't, because there isn't one. So just
not yet.
Steve,
we've already said. If you, all right, Mr. Duncan, carry on.
We'll just stick to what we've said today, please, Steve.
Yeah, but anyway, right, fine. Yeah. Ooh. Christina's already sent you an email.
Yes, this is it. This is the one. This is where you email to.
I know. Well, we said that. That's fine.
No, I'm just saying it again, Steve. This is the email address, everyone. So if you want to, maybe people have just joined us, you see, because we're going to Rome. We're going to be in Italy, aren't we? Ooh. I'm looking forward to trying some of the food. We might even go and see the Pope. If he's in, he might give us an audience. Who knows?
I doubt it.
So that is the email address if you want to meet up. It is around the start of June. If you are free at that time and you want more details, please let us know by writing with your name, your real name, and also your YouTube name as well. So then we can identify you and make some arrangements. I have to say I'm looking forward to it, Steve.
Yes, so am I.
Never been.
No, never been to Italy. So it'll be a first for us. And we'll have a lovely time. Even if no one wants to see us, we want to see them. So, but even if it doesn't happen, it's our holiday anyway.
Yes.
But hopefully, if some of you are there and it's convenient and you want to, then it would be lovely for us to meet up, because we had a lovely time in Paris last year.
It was fantastic,
and we made some lovely new friends, and hopefully we'll be able to do the same again.
Yes. So
And
again,
somebody can teach us how to speak Italian. Actually, that's something we've got to do before we go, Mr. Duncan, is learn some basic Italian.
yes. So can I just put the details on again for those who have just joined, because we've had some new people arrive. Can I just say that if you are interested in meeting up, this is the email address. Just give me your YouTube name so I know who you are on YouTube, and of course your actual name as well, so we can identify each other. And we will be in Rome around the first week of June, so that now you know. No specific dates yet, so if you write to me, I will give you some more details, so then you can make your plans. I know it's very difficult, isn't it, Steve? Because it's taken us so long to arrange this. So now it's done.
I know.
It's done. Anyway.
Francesca's in something that is very close to Rome. It's Romania, from the 3rd to the 13th of June. Well, email anyway, Francesca, because we haven't announced the dates. And just to send Mr. Duncan an email anyway, and we'll see what happens.
Yes.
It might be a case that we could meet up with you anyway. But yeah, anyway.
I don't understand.
That's it. That's the procedure.
What?
Got to be careful what I say. Mr. Duncan gets angry with me.
No, but I don't know what you're talking about now. I
I'm
have
talking
no
to
idea what you
Francesca.
mean. How
I'm
can
talking to
somebody not be
Francesca.
around and still meet up with us?
But anyway, just move on, Mr. Duncan.
Okay, then. I'm just a bit confused. That's all. Anyway, today we have some things to talk about. We have a lot of things to talk about. Predicting the future. I am making a prediction now about our trip to Italy. We will be roaming around Rome. We will be looking around, and I'm hoping the weather will be nice, because your sister just a few days ago was also in Italy as well.
They've beaten us to it. Yes, they said it was very hot and very busy. But then you would expect that in the capital of any country.
Yes, I think that is one of the things I've read a little bit about Rome and the culture there, and also the tourism is very, very busy. So the tourist season is quite busy in Rome. A lot of people like to go there. I think it's very similar to Paris. I think it attracts a lot of tourists during certain times of the year. Anyway, whatever happens, I think we will enjoy it. We might even do a live stream whilst we're in Rome as well. So we will see what happens. I think that's it, really. It's a shame that Francesca won't be able to join us, but we will see what happens anyway. It is, oh my goodness, already it's coming up to 3 o'clock. I think we'll have a quick break whilst I drink some water to soothe my sore throat because I've been talking too much, both yesterday and also today as well. And then we will be back, Mr. Steve. We're talking about big glasses as well. Apparently it's the big trend now. The new trend for wearing your spectacles is to have a very big pair of glasses. Apparently that is the new thing. All of that coming up a little bit later on. But first of all, this. Well, that went fast. I was drinking my water then, and I suddenly noticed that Flags of the World has gone. Oh my goodness, that's very strange. Hello, everyone. We are back. There is Mr. Steve. Mr. Steve had to dash into the kitchen and stir his lentil dal, because what happens, sometimes it starts to catch fire, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It gets too hot and then it burns it, so I have to give it a stir every now and then. Otherwise, we end up with a burnt tea.
Everyone thought we'd vanish, but we haven't.
Beatrice is off. Bye, Beatrice.
Already?
I think she's got a bad signal.
Oh, that's no good. We can't have bad signals. Anyway, the other thing I meant to mention, because I mentioned earlier, Steve, that we're not doing a Wednesday live stream anymore because no one's watching. And also, we're with you on Sunday, but it will be shorter. So we will actually be only with you for another half an hour. So we've shortened that as well. And hopefully that will make things a little better, you see, around the edges. But there will be lots of new lessons coming up during the week. So lots of that coming. So even though there are some changes, the only problem is I only have a certain amount of time available to do all this. So if I'm doing live streams, I can't make new lessons. So I have to make sure the time is all used in a certain way. So there will not be a live stream on Wednesday, and that will be for the foreseeable future. Oh, now did you see what I did there? I did something very interesting there, because we are talking about making predictions. It is not easy, by the way, to make predictions. It is sometimes a thing that certain people can do. They can do it. They are very good at making predictions, especially if you have information in front of you. And you do. If you have information from the past, you can quite often predict what will happen in the future. So today, that's what we are looking at. Predict the future. I know it's not easy to do, but some people think they can do it, and some people are very good at it, and some people are not. The word predict means to state future events, things that will happen in the future. So maybe you are trying to make a guess at what will happen next. Or maybe you have some information about what will happen next. A prediction is made based on current information. So information that we have now can help us to make predictions for the future. So when we predict, we are trying to guess what will happen next. Or if we are very clever, we know exactly what is going to happen next. A prediction is normally made for a certain amount of time. So I suppose it's fair to say, Steve, there is only a certain amount of time that you can predict to. So you make your prediction for a certain amount of time in the future. It isn't easy to do it for anything when you think about it, but I think it is possible to do it for a short period of time in the future.
Are you talking about just sort of life in general?
Yes, anything really.
Yes, I mean, in business, it's difficult to predict more than or to plan more than 5 years ahead, they generally say, because then events become uncontrollable. You can't tell what's going to happen. Life is so complicated. There are so many different factors involved in what could influence your position. Then it's difficult to make predictions sort of beyond sort of 5 years. I mean, businesses tend to do 5 years rather than 10-year predictions. It's like the weather. You can't predict that. Unless, of course, you're Nostradamus and he predicted the future sort of thousands of years in advance.
But most of it didn't come true.
So some people do have a go at it, at predicting what will happen. And, sometimes they're right, because you can probably just about guess anything. In 50 years' time, you can probably just about guess just make a stab in the dark.
Yeah.
And you probably will be right.
So when a person does make a prediction, it's normally for the short term, or just within maybe a year, or at the most 2 years. It's very hard to make a prediction for 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So whatever you are talking about, I think it's very hard. But you can give a kind of prediction for something in a short term, so just for a short period into the future. Anything that can be guessed or worked out or predicted, something you can actually say, well, maybe that will happen, or that will happen over the next 2 or 3 weeks or months. To look ahead, to forecast. I like that word, forecast. So you are looking ahead. So when we say for, F-O-R-E, we are saying front, in front. You are trying to look ahead, a bit like casting your net. You are forecasting something. You are trying to guess what will happen next. Another one is foretell. I like that one, foretell. It sounds a bit old-fashioned. You don't often hear people say foretell nowadays. It sounds a little bit old-fashioned. Predict, foresee as well. So I think that is a current word. I think we can still use the word foresee. It's something you can see happening, or something you can see coming towards you. You are foreseeing something. Maybe a danger that lies ahead in the future. You foresee something that might go wrong. And anticipate. I suppose that's very similar. You anticipate something. You maybe you are waiting for something to happen, or you are expecting something to happen. So I suppose that is a kind of prediction as well. A prediction is assumed to be accurate to a degree. So I suppose what Steve just said was there are certain things that we can predict. There are certain things we can be sure of in the future. Weather forecasting has got very good. So quite often the weather forecast will be quite accurate to a degree. So what does that mean, Steve, when we say something is to a degree? What does it mean?
Yeah, so you've got some partial success in what you're going to be able to do. I mean, some things are, if you were to predict what the weather was going to be this time next week, you could be, based on all the information that you've got available, you could be accurate to a degree, or to, another word would be to a percentage maybe. You may be, say, 50% or 60% accurate, but you might not be able to predict all of it. You might look at your business and where you want it to perform in 5 years' time, and you put in place various things, and you hope that if these are all successful, your business will go from here to here. But you can only be accurate to within a certain degree. You can never be 100% accurate as well. If you use that phrase, it means you're never going to be 100% accurate. I mean, it depends. It depends on how many variables there are.
Yeah. So it is hard to guess what will happen, because there are many other things that can happen or occur, things that you might not even be aware of. I suppose the good example, Steve, I know I use this example quite often. 2020, something came along that shocked us all. No one saw it coming. No one predicted COVID and all of the chaos that came afterwards. So I suppose that is one good example of something that was completely unpredictable. You could not predict that thing happening. No one said in 2018 we might be closing everywhere down in 2 years' time because of a virus. No one saw that coming. So it is possible still to be completely wrong or to not know anything at all. A big surprise or a big shock can still come along even when you try to make some sort of guess or prediction.
They tend to cause those events that have not been predicted and that sort of come out of nowhere and take everybody by surprise are often called black swan events. They certainly call that a lot it's a black swan event is what they call it. Something that comes along that you weren't expecting, like the pandemic, like a war, like anything, like financial instability, banks going bust, something that it causes such a big effect that it has a major effect on everything that happens, like the pandemic. So you call you call them black swan events is a term that people often use.
Interesting.
To describe those things that people have tried to predict lots of things, but that one comes out of nowhere. It just comes out of nowhere and takes everybody by surprise.
Yes, I have heard that. I think it's used in certain situations or certain types of situation, but I think in the future, COVID will often be referred to when we are talking about things that are unpredictable. I think so, definitely. There can be, of course, margins or a margin of error. So this is what you were saying just, Steve, about degree. So a certain degree of success or accuracy to predict something correctly or incorrectly, or maybe not at all. So there can be a margin of error. Every prediction has a certain amount of error. So there is, it isn't definite. It isn't 100%. I don't think anyone can say that something is 100% going to happen. So maybe you arrange a party for next week and you think, oh, everything's going to be great. The weather forecast looks like it will be good. But you might get to that date and you find it's raining. Maybe there is a small shower that is localized and things have to be altered or changed. So there is always some margin of error.
Yes,
Sorry, Steve.
I was going to say we're often having to predict what's going to happen. I mean, if you have, as you say, if you have a party, you don't know exactly how many people are coming, but you might need to make an estimate because you might need to get food. You might need to cater for any events where you haven't got definite numbers of people or names of people. Then it's going to be slightly unpredictable. But you might have these margins for error, or sometimes they call them confidence intervals. So you think something's going to happen, but it could be 5 or 10% or even greater beyond that range. They often use that with medicines to predict how effective they will be in actually treating somebody. You will say, based on an average, it will cause this effect in somebody if you give them this drug at this dosage. But there will always be these margins for error, these confidence intervals where it may differ slightly from person to person.
Scientific predictions are often very accurate, and it's interesting. So there are a lot of things in science that you can predict. And again, normally it's because that thing has happened before, or there is a record of it happening before. And quite often with things that occur in nature, you often see a pattern, some sort of pattern will start to form. So it is possible then to work out when something will happen. I suppose a good example would be the forecast for a solar eclipse. So because they are recorded and because scientists now can work out the speed of movement and the way everything moves around in our solar system or even in the universe, because we are expanding our view of everything around us, we can quite accurately forecast or predict certain types of natural event. And I suppose the eclipse is a very good example of it, because it is something we know now it's almost because it's locked in to a certain movement. So everything is doing the same thing again and again. So it becomes much easier to predict that particular thing. I think it's true to say that that is possible. The weather. Now, I think if there is one thing we moan about more in this country than anything else, politics perhaps, the weather is the big one. We always complain about the weather. Weather predictions are more accurate now than in the past. You might not believe it, but it is true. So it is easier, or it's certainly more accurate than it used to be. And that's because computers have come along. So quite often computers will be used to predict roughly what the weather will be. And how they do that is by looking back into the past. So all of the different weather events, the computer will try to work out what the most likely weather event will be next. It's quite interesting, isn't it though, Steve?
Yes, I mean, it depends where you live. I mean, some countries, it's much easier to predict the weather. The UK is notoriously difficult country to predict the weather because we're relatively small land mass, and it's in a very active area of weather anyway. We're quite exposed to the sea. We've got winds coming from all different directions. I mean, if you live on the equator, it's relatively easy to predict the weather there. And certain parts of Australia, it's always going to be hot. If you live in the Arctic, the weather's going to be quite predictable there. But the UK is notoriously difficult to predict the weather. And when I look at the weather forecast on my phone, which I do most days, it will, for a start, the weather forecast never like to give more than a week in advance. Even a week is difficult to predict exactly what it's going to be doing. And even the next day, there's a lot of uncertainty around certain weather patterns. I mean, they say that for example, if I look today on my phone, it says there's a 10% chance of rain.
Yeah.
So a 10% chance. So what, do I take an umbrella or not? 10% is quite low, but it might rain, it might not. So there's a 90% chance it will stay dry. There's always this percentage when you look at it, because England is just, UK is a very difficult part of the world to predict the weather in.
And what's interesting is southern Europe over the past 2 or 3 weeks have had really nice weather because summer normally arrives earlier there. So their weather will start to improve before ours. And this year, ours has been very crazy because we've had so much rain. So I think it is possible to predict the weather to a certain degree. Of course, they have 2 different types of weather forecast. They have a short range, and then they have a long range forecast. And that's normally for the next 10 or 15 days. So it is interesting how that also can change. Even though they say it will be like that, maybe as time goes by, they will have to change that long range forecast. That's the reason why at the moment we're being told, I think it's a couple of weeks from now, we're going to get very hot weather. It's going to be really, really, really hot here in the UK. So I'm looking forward.
Because we're a small country, these weather patterns can move, and because they can shift and move, you might say that there's a weather pattern in the Atlantic somewhere that looks like it might be coming our way, because we get a lot of weather from the Atlantic, sort of west-southwesterly direction. But that particular pressure system, a low pressure system, for example, looks like it might be coming our way, but it could easily veer off. And they only have to be like 1% difference and it will miss us altogether because we're only a small country. So
Yeah.
they might say in a week's time we're going to get a hurricane because there's one down in the Atlantic somewhere, but it might miss us anyway because you only have to be 1% out over thousands of miles, and suddenly it's past our little small landmass.
Yes, we are small. If you've ever looked at a proper map of the world, so not the one that we often see, but there is one that puts all of the continents at their real size, you will be shocked to find just how tiny the UK is. We are literally just a tiny dot on the full scale map. So I'm not on about the one that you see on the atlas. I'm on about the real size. So where everything is in its genuine proportion. And Africa is huge. It's absolutely massive when you look at the proper scale of all of the countries. So I think that's true, actually. I never really thought of it like that. Certain types of weather are hard to predict, such as snow. Apparently it's the hardest thing to predict is snow, because it needs a very particular type of weather, or two things happening at the same time or within a certain period to get snow. So that is one of the reasons why snow is often quite hard to predict. Even now, and I suppose this brings us on to something a little less cheerful, even now some natural occurrences are hard to foresee. And I suppose the one we often think about, Steve, is earthquakes. Very hard to predict earthquakes. So you can't say a week from now there will be an earthquake. All you can do is say maybe over the next 10, 12 months or couple of years, or in some cases I've heard people say in the next 10 years certain places might have a serious earthquake, but you can't say when exactly because it's so hard to predict. And I think still that's the natural disaster that causes the most damage as well.
Yes, they can monitor seismic activity, so that'll give them a clue. Seismic activity, they measure that, don't they? And that will give them a clue as to when something might happen relatively soon. They do that with volcanoes. They're getting quite good with volcanoes, predicting volcanic eruptions, because several weeks or months before the volcano is due to erupt, there's lots of seismic activity that they can measure. So it gives them more of a prediction. But as you say, with earthquakes, they're very, very hard to predict because they can just happen. There might be no warning for them.
Well, they had one in New York just a few days ago. In New York, they had quite a strong earthquake, and the other place, of course, is San Francisco, which it actually sits on one of the most dangerous faults in the Earth's crust. I think it's the San Andreas fault, and I think it's one of those ones that's very temperamental. So when it goes, it causes a lot of damage, a lot of serious structural damage. Here we go, Steve. Now this is one Steve will know about. I'm going to shut up because I know nothing about this. Economics uses a certain amount of data to predict the future. So I think Steve is more the person who would know about how things are worked out with economics, business, shares, things like that, because Steve always likes to keep his eye on that sort of thing, whereas I don't. So I suppose economics is a good one to use when we are talking about making predictions.
Well, yes, and of course it's well known that economists are very, very bad at predicting the future. They're notoriously bad at it, and they're notoriously bad at managing it. I mean, central banks are often accused of not knowing what they're doing, and it's very, very difficult. I mean, never believe an economist, I think is what they say. I mean, I see this all the time. I do follow it because I'm just interested in it, not from any. I just am, and you see. I mean, if you're somebody that follows sort of financial matters. There's lots of people on there there's lots of YouTube channels about people talking about, where are stocks going, what's the economy going to do, and they're all different. And of course, and there are lots of quite famous, particularly in America, people that come on talking about stock markets in America and the economy, and they make these predictions, and of course sometimes they're right. But most of the time they're wrong. And if you keep constantly talking about what your predictions are, sooner or later you will be right just by the law of averages.
Yes, well, I think this is a good. I think that is one particular thing to talk about, especially when you're guessing maybe the economy or the stocks or the shares or how inflation will work, because of course here in the UK we are having high inflation. The price of things, it's incredible how everything's increased in price here in the UK, and it's gone a little bit crazy, to be honest. But we still get people making predictions, but quite often those predictions don't come true. However, when they are correct, quite often it is just by chance, isn't it, Steve? So if you say the same thing enough times, eventually it will happen because you can be right.
That's the other danger. That is there's a known effect here that people that or predict that something will happen, it may end up coming true because that's what people expect. So often people can predict the future and say they think this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And if they are particularly influential people, they might actually be influencing events to such an extent that they happen anyway, because people then subconsciously do all the things that lead to that outcome, and that outcome might not have happened if somebody hadn't mentioned it.
Yes.
You can frighten people into doing all sorts of things.
Well, I think that's why you've got to be careful when you make predictions about the stock market or the value of certain commodities, because you can actually then change everyone's behaviour, which will have an effect. I think that happened. Isn't that what happened in the late 1990s when the Asian market collapsed, because people were speculating on certain things, and then it all went wrong, and then everyone suddenly started taking their money out because they didn't really know what was going to happen next. So sometimes uncertainty can be just as bad as certainty. However, sometimes the opposite is also true as well.
There's one factor involved in particularly stock markets, that if people are all talking about it, then it's already priced in anyway. So it's a waste of time even if people are talking about something that they think is going to happen, it's already been priced in, because the people that behind the scenes that are clever and know how economics work have already priced this all in anyway. So it's the things that people aren't talking about are the things that will affect what's going to happen in the future when it comes to the economies. I think the things that people are talking about, everybody, people that know about the businesses know about all these things anyway.
That's it. There is a certain amount of, it's a bit like sailing a ship. I always think the economy or anything like that, it's a bit like sailing a ship, because you can't make the decision straight away. You have to predict that. So you are already turning the rudder on the ship a long time before that thing starts to happen. And we often use that, don't they? They use it sailing the ship when you are talking about the economy, because you have to be prepared a long time before that thing arrives.
It's difficult to change the position of a ship quickly.
Yes.
This is the battle they've been having, isn't it? So I don't want to get boring about it. Is increasing interest rates to try and control inflation. It's like trying to turn a ship. Once that inflation has got out of control, it's going to be very difficult to bring it back under control, and it will take a long time. And it's everybody's talking now about the economy crashing again, but the fact, if people are talking about it, it's probably not going to happen. This is what I've learned over the years. Whatever people are talking about, is probably not going to happen because it's already known about anyway.
The trend.
Oh, that's the good one. Sorry, Mr.
okay.
Duncan Nitram. Self-fulfilling prophecy. That's the phrase I was looking for. When people say, "Oh, I think this is going to happen," it may end up. It may not have happened, but it may end up happening because you suddenly believe that is going to happen, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And in fact, you yourself can make predictions about your own life. And you might say, oh, I'm never going to achieve that. Oh, I'm never going to get that job. Or I'm never going to get that promotion. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because then you set in place all these negative actions that make sure it never happens anyway. So that's a good phrase, a self-fulfilling prophecy. So that's something that you predict is going to happen. And it does happen because you said you expect it to happen, but it might not have done if you hadn't have said that in the first place, because you set up all these things in your mind that almost contrive to make you fail.
Some things are hard. Some things, or many things, are almost impossible to predict. And I suppose that they often tend to be the very important things as well. Will my relationship work? Is there going to be something that might come along? It might suddenly disrupt our relationship in some way. Perhaps something might come along to affect your health. You can't predict your health. You just have to be thankful every day that you have it and hope that in the future nothing bad will happen. And of course, taking care of yourself also helps as well. Many things are almost impossible to predict. A prediction made without knowledge, we often describe it as a gamble. So I think that's quite interesting. So if you predict something or try to make a certain guess, then you are basically gambling because you don't know what the outcome will be, even though the attitude that you have is that you do know.
But, Mr. Duncan, people are saying the sound's gone off.
Oh, okay, it's back now.
Just letting you know.
There we go. A prediction is made without knowledge. So a prediction that we make without knowledge is a gamble. A gamble. To take a gamble. You are making a guess that thing will happen in a certain way. And you are saying that something will happen. So quite often if you gamble, you are doing that. Playing roulette is a gamble. Playing the lottery, I suppose, is a gamble because you write those numbers down because you think, oh, I think these are going to be the numbers, the lottery numbers this week. And then you pay your money and that's it. But you're not sure. It is still a gamble. So you are hoping that this little prediction that you have will come true, and then you will win millions and millions and millions of pounds. Will it make any difference? Probably not. General predictions about the future can be made but are not reliable. And that's literally what Steve just said. So you can make predictions, but quite often they are not very reliable. A person might claim to be able to predict the future. Mr. Steve, I am looking into the future. I am using my crystal ball. Or maybe I'm going to look at Mr. Steve's tea leaves.
See, there's a phrase, to use a crystal ball. People often use that phrase. And they say, oh, do you know what's going to happen in 5 years' time? Use your crystal ball, which is a reference to gypsies who traditionally who would foretell your future with a crystal ball. So if you use that phrase, it just means that you are trying to see into the future, trying to take into account all the different variables and how they will interact with each other to predict where you'll be in, say, 3 years or 5 years' time.
So a person who says they can predict the future is a person who might be described as a fortune teller, mystic, or clairvoyant, a person who believes that they have some power to to look ahead. What will happen in my future? Maybe they will read the palm of your hand and they will look at all of the lines on your hand and they will say, oh, you will have a very long life. You will meet a beautiful lady. You will get married and have 3 beautiful, lovely, successful children just from looking at the front of your hand. I don't know what they will find out if they looked at the back, because there's lots and lots of lines and wrinkles on the back of there, I tell you. A fortune teller, mystic or clairvoyant. You don't see them very often anymore. We used to see them all the time. They used to be everywhere, fortune tellers. But we don't normally see them very often because I think a lot of people just don't believe it.
You often see them at fairgrounds, or you used to.
Mm.
If you go to a fairground, there'd often be a fortune teller there, and it's a bit of fun to go in there and have somebody predict your future. But you mustn't take it too seriously, because I don't think anybody actually can do that.
No, I think so. I think
although
right.
some people like to believe it.
Mm.
Some people like to actually, they like to somebody to tell them what their future will be, because it gives them some kind of assurance. Particularly, I think if you go to a fortune teller, I don't think they normally give you bad news.
No.
I mean, you see it on the television that they tell you bad news, but usually they'll say things like, "Oh, you're going to have 2 beautiful children," or you will meet the man of your dreams or the woman of your dreams. They will usually give you good news, because otherwise you're not going to go back next time.
Well, it's also just reassurance as well. A kind of reassurance. It's a bit like praying. I think praying is the same, because when you pray, you are going, "Oh, it will be okay then, because I've done it. I've prayed, so it should be all right." And I think going to a clairvoyant is very similar, because she's telling you what you want to hear.
Yeah, she's telling you, and they will maybe ask you a few questions. They're quite clever at working out people's personalities and what they're like. So obviously, if you go in and you're a beautiful woman, she's probably going to, by saying that you're going to meet a lovely man, a handsome man, and get married, it's probably going to happen anyway. But some people like that reassurance to know that things. She's not going to say it's going to happen by this time.
Well, no.
But then it could become a self-fulfilling prophecy, because somebody might go in and say, "Oh yes, you're going to become a successful doctor or a successful businessman or woman." And then you might think, I'm going to. But then you might go off and actually do the things.
Yes.
That make sure that thing happens anyway.
Well, that's kind of It's also reassurance. It's just saying, that will be all right. You will be successful. Okay, then you go away and you'll be full of enthusiasm. Nobody really knows what lies ahead for us in the future, to be honest. Let's face it.
But the other thing that of course, environmentalists, climatologists, whatever, are trying to predict what's going to happen to the climate, aren't they? But they keep moving the goalpost. They keep changing it, and saying that the Earth's going to heat up by 2 degrees, and then it's all over. We'll all be dead. But they keep saying this. They've been saying it for years. Yes, we all know the planet's heating up, but we don't know exactly. I'm not going to get into that. But that's very difficult to predict, isn't it? Very, very difficult to predict that, because there's so many variables. The more variables you've got, the more difficult it becomes to predict the future. As you say, if you've got mathematical certainties, like where will a planet be in 100 years' time, you can work that out from maths incredibly accurately. I mean, look, recently we sent a probe, a spaceship, out to meet a comet somewhere, and it set off like 2 years ago, and we knew exactly where that comet was going to be based on maths, because that's something that's very predictable. And it was amazing to think. I can't even remember the name of the spaceship we sent up there, and it managed to exactly, based on maths and incredibly complicated formulas, and it met up with that comet and took a sample of it, and I think it's on its way back or has come back. But those things are very predictable. If it's, but some things aren't. Like, what will we be doing next week on next week's live stream? Well, we don't really know, do we, Mr. Duncan?
Will there be one?
Will there even be a live stream? Chances are there will.
I might fall down the stairs tomorrow morning and break my neck and be dead.
But you could put a probability on that, couldn't you? What are the chances that Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve will be doing a live stream at 2 p.m. Next Sunday? You would be able to give a percentage accuracy to that. Probably.
Well, after today's live stream, there is a high possibility that I might be jumping out of a window somewhere. Here we go then, one more. The choices we make will be what shapes the future. So that is the way in which we can predict the future, by our own actions. The things we do as individuals are the things that decide what the future will be. So it's a bit like what Steve was saying earlier. He said, Mr. Duncan, you are so fat and unfit. And it's true, I am. I'm terrible. I'm really unfit. So maybe I need to take care of myself. Maybe I need to do a bit more exercise. So the things you do can help your future. You can be more certain that something will go a certain way because of the things you do. Your own actions can be a kind of prediction of the future because you can make sure that those bad things will not occur. Anyway, we're going now. I know I said we were going at 3:30, but we are going in a few moments anyway. So thank you, Mr. Steve, for joining us. He will go back to the kitchen now because he's making his lentil dal. I hope it's not burning. And we'll see you next week, Mr. Steve.
All right, Mr. Duncan. Nice to be here. Nice to see you all. And see you all again. Probably a high prediction this time next week.
It was a pleasure. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. And there he goes, Mr. Steve is leaving the studio, and I will also be leaving the studio in a moment for various reasons. One of them to have a cup of tea with Mr. Steve. See you later. Take care of yourselves. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. And you will join us again on Sunday. Next Sunday, I will be back with you. Not Wednesday. There are no live streams on Wednesday. And I will be back with you next Sunday. We are talking about big glasses next week. We didn't have time to do it today. And that, as they say, is that. Thank you for joining us. Look out for my new lessons. There are lots of new lessons, long and short. So look out for those. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. A lot to talk about. And I'm making a prediction that hopefully, maybe, perhaps, who knows, you will be here next week joining us on the live stream. We will be back together. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Have a super duper time. Look out for my new lessons. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now. See you next Sunday.